He was doing it alone in the dark behind a closed door, and I knew I had a choice: walk away or cross a line I couldn't uncross. The house was quiet, too quiet, that eerie kind of silence that makes your skin prickle like the walls are holding their breath. So was I. I stood barefoot in the hallway, staring at the faint flicker of light under his door. No voices, no music, just the ticking of the clock and the pounding in my chest. I wasn't looking for trouble. But when you've been alone long enough, silence stops feeling empty and starts sounding like an invitation. Milo had been locking himself in there every night. No explanation. I told myself he was grieving, that he needed space, but it had been weeks. And something about that night felt different. I didn't knock, didn't speak, just stood there, one hand resting on the doorknob, frozen. I wish I could say I did the right thing, but honestly I didn't even know what that was anymore. Because when you see your own emptiness reflected in someone else's silence, it changes you. You stop thinking in terms of right and wrong. You start thinking in terms of need. I wasn't checking on him, I was looking for something. Not love, not sex, just a flicker of connection, a moment of being seen. No one talks about that kind of hunger, the craving not to feel invisible. I'm 38, married. On paper, everything looks fine: a tidy house, a decent car, a husband, Patrick, who provides. But inside it's hollow. He thinks paying the bills means he's doing his part, but he's never really here. Always traveling, always on his phone when he's home. We talk logistics, calendars, errands, who's picking up what, that's it. I used to try, cook new recipes, reach for him in bed. But when you keep reaching and there's nothing reaching back, eventually you stop. Then Milo moved in. Patrick's son, 19. His mother, Patrick's ex, died suddenly. He left college, came back to the city, and Patrick offered him the guest room. I didn't object. It felt like the right thing. Milo was quiet, distant, hoodie always up, headphones in. I tried small gestures, meals, notes, but he didn't need anything, or at least he never said so. Patrick didn't even try. He barely spoke to him. Dinner became a ritual of silence. I'd talk just to fill the air. Milo would answer with one-word replies. Patrick barely looked up from his phone. I'd sit across from them and feel like a ghost, like I wasn't really there. Sometimes I'd pass Milo in the hallway and see it in him, that weight, like he was carrying something heavy and invisible. And maybe that's what connected us. He'd lost a mother, I'd lost a marriage. When Patrick was away, I didn't miss him, but I noticed Milo, not in a loud or obvious way, just in the way the house felt different, the way I'd see him on the porch at night staring into the dark like he was waiting for something. Then one night, I passed his door and heard something, a soft rhythmic sound, familiar. My breath caught. I didn't mean to listen, I really didn't. But I knocked before I could stop myself. A scuffle. The snap of a laptop. Silence. "Yeah," he said after a beat. "Just checking if you needed anything." I said too fast, "I'm good." I nodded, though he couldn't see, and walked away. But I couldn't unsee the image my mind created. I couldn't unfeel the stir it caused in me. Not maternal, not judgmental, just alive. At breakfast, he looked at me just for a second. No shame, no apology, just awareness, like he knew I knew and he didn't mind. And I hated what it did to me. That flicker of attention, it was the most I'd felt in months. I began noticing more how his eyes lingered, how he brushed past me slower than needed. One morning, our hands met over a coffee mug. His fingers touched my wrist. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Coincidence, until it wasn't. Another night, Patrick away, Milo and I on the couch watching a movie. Harmless. Halfway through, he shifted. His head rested on my lap. I should have stopped it. Instead, my fingers found his hair, his shoulder, his chest. Barely touching, but too much. When I pulled away, ashamed, he looked up, steady, calm. He didn't flinch. He saw me, not the wife, not the stepmother, just me. The next morning, he was in the kitchen, shirtless, pouring cereal like nothing had happened. But when he looked at me, the air changed. We never talked about it. We didn't need to. Everything changed. Every passing moment, every brush of hands, every glance across the room. I should have slammed the door shut, drawn the line, walked away. But I didn't, because after all these years of being invisible, someone finally saw me. And that feeling, that flicker of recognition, that's a kind of hunger that doesn't just go.